Welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Michael Huerta, president of the Hemet Library Foundation. Joining me is our vice president, Kurt Stingley.
It's funny that we think of libraries as quiet, demure places where we are shushed by dusty, bun-balancing, bespectacled women. The truth is, libraries are raucous clubhouses for free speech, controversy, and community. Librarians have stood up to the Patriot Act, sat down with noisy toddlers, and reached out to illiterate adults. Libraries can never be shushed. This quote by comedian and author Paula Poundstone brings to the forefront the inherent nature of libraries, a place for great ideas and great thoughts.
Libraries are sometimes thought of as buildings that contain only records of the past events or old philosophies, a liberal tomb of dull facts and outdated information. But libraries contain so much more. Libraries contain the seeds for the dreams and inspirations.
Some authors write books to record a specific event, and then how that event affected the population as a passive viewer.
Some books contain statistical information, just facts and numbers. This information is important, however, does not contain a call to action.
Then there are those books that capture the hearts of their readers and challenge them to take action, to change their outlooks, and to change their world.
Helen Hunt Jackson was one of those authors who challenged the status quo. Her writings changed the world because of her passion and determination.
Helen Maria Fisk was born in 1831 and grew up during a time when women were expected to devote their lives to their families and home, not to involve themselves to politics or to social causes.
As a young adult, Fisk had the opportunity to attend the Abbott School in New York City, where she excelled as a scholar. After getting married to Edward Bissell Hunt and starting a family, her husband and 2 sons passed away, leaving Helen heartbroken. She turned to writing as therapy and as a means of economic support, and her writings were very well received.
Helen traveled to Colorado because of health challenges, where she met and married William Jackson. They traveled extensively back and forth from Colorado to the East Coast. During one of these trips, Jackson met members of the Indian Commission. She was so taken aback by the mistreatment of one of the Native American tribes that she offered to raise money to help pay their legal expenses so that they could regain their land.
Mrs. Jackson wrote the book Century of Dishonor and sent copies to Congress to raise their awareness of the mistreatment of Native Americans. But as was the prevailing attitude of the time, her writings were dismissed because she was a woman.
Mrs. Jackson was determined to bring attention to the mistreatment and decided to take another approach. She wrote a fictional story about a young woman of mixed heritage and the struggles she encountered in early California. This story was published in 1884 and was titled Ramona.
The story of Ramona was written as a love story, but with truthful experiences about the harsh and sometimes fatal treatment of Native Americans by the rancheros and Californios. Jackson wanted attention brought to the situation and thereby put political pressure on Congress to make changes. While she was doing research for her book, Mrs. Jackson visited our area and read the local newspapers about the often violent encounters between the local residents and the local band of Mission Indians. Mrs. Jackson was so moved by what she read that she even paid the legal fees for several local tribes to establish their own reservations.
But Jackson's beautiful writings and descriptions of Southern California area captured the interest of the readers more than the hoped-for outrage of the mistreatment of local Native Americans. Millions of East Coast residents traveled by rail and by boats around the Horn to come to California to see where Ramona, Alessandro, and the Senora lived. Visitors wanted to experience the romance of early California.
Many local businessmen saw the economic benefits of utilizing the Ramona connection to attract these visitors to this area. In Ventura, there is a working mission-style ranch and homestead named Rancho Camulos, which advertised itself as the home of Ramona. There are many references to Ramona in San Diego, including the claim that Ramona and Alessandro were married in a small chapel in the Old Town area of San Diego.
Outdoor pageants and plays were popular in the early 1900s as a way to involve the entire community and to attract tourist dollars to the local economy. In 1921, the Hemet Chamber of Commerce commissioned Garnet Holmes to create the script for a local outdoor pageant to attract people to our area in the hopes of encouraging them to move here.
The Ramona pageant proved to be very popular. It has become the longest-running outdoor play in the United States and is the California official outdoor play. Many residents of San Jacinto Valley have participated in the pageant as support staff, rock Indians, and actors, with many families participating for multiple generations.
Participation in the Ramona pageant has become a rite of passage for many in our valley. 2013 marks the 90th anniversary of the Ramona pageant. This long dedication to community and public service has shaped who we are as citizens of our valley. We have over 100 community and nonprofit organizations in our local area with members who work selflessly to improve our valley.
The book Ramona sparked a westward expansion that was unanticipated. People came to California and stayed because of the weather, the opportunities, and the land. Our own valley experienced a large influx of new residents who came because of the story, but stayed because they too fell in love with the area.
Many of these early residents wanted the same amenities that they had back east, especially a public library. In the spirit of Helen Hunt Jackson, our local women's club members worked tirelessly to get the approval and funding for the first Hemet Public Library, which opened in 1910.
Our valley would not be the same if Helen Hunt Jackson had not written the story Ramona. We all have been affected for the good because of a single woman who went against the prevailing social norms because she wanted to make the difference for Native Americans. The book Ramona and the outdoor play, the Ramona Pageant, has brought the national attention to our area. But Helen Hunt Jackson also influenced single individuals. I had the opportunity to talk with Janine Washington, who played Ramona in 2012 and recently won the role for the 2013 season. Joining me today is Janine Washington, who portrayed Ramona in the 2012 production of the Ramona Pageant. The story of Ramona centers on a young woman of mixed heritage, Scottish and Native American, in early California. What attracted you to this character, and what do you feel you can bring to this role?
Actually, this character is something that is very personal to me. I am of Native American ancestry and also Scotch-Irish ancestry. And I come from California. I grew up right here in Hemet. I went to Ramona Elementary School and graduated from Hemet High School. And when I was in the 4th grade, I, of course, was one of the fortunate kids who got to go see the Ramona pageant. I identified with that story immediately, and every year I have read that book. And when I first saw it as a kid, I said to myself, I am going to do that role because I identified with that character, and the storyline was a very powerful storyline. Of course, the pageantry, the music, and the dancing was all grand and sweeping, but I really was attracted to the story that it was telling.
I understand that a modified version of the play Ramona will be performed at the National Museum of the American Indian at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. Can you tell me more about this and your involvement in this performance?
Well, actually, this was something that I had thought of for a long time. Since I am a Smithsonian artist, part of the National Museum of the American Indian, recognized Smithsonian artist, I wanted to bring the story of Ramona there. We've produced I work with a production house, a Native American production house, and we have produced several works there. And they have a beautiful stage that Ramona would fit on just perfect. And of course, it is a Native American story. And this particular version is going to be a somewhat scaled down version. We can't bring all 350 cast members from out here up there, but we're going to do a scaled down version. And of course, the National Museum of the American Indian is by, for, and about the American Indian. So the story is going to be, the play, scaled down version, is going to be based on Helen Hunt Jackson's writings, but it is going to be written by, for, and about Native Americans. And from that perspective, And we consider Helen Hunt Jackson one of us in our culture. She was a wonderful woman of her time, somewhat of an activist, and she cared about the American Indian and their cause for many, many years. Long before she even came to California, she was fighting for the American Indian cause. And she cared during a time period in our history when no one else really did, and she took action when no one else did. So we will be bringing her along with us. There will be someone to portray Helen Hunt Jackson in this production, and we will get to hear the story come right from her own voice.
Wow, that's incredible. I think this is going to be a great, great production when you actually have that. Now, from what I understand, you and several other members of the 2012 cast were part of the 2013 Rose Parade in Pasadena. How important is this type of national exposure to the writing of Helen Hunt Jackson, the pageant, and to the Native American history?
It is very important. This Rose Parade is part of history in itself. It is huge. It is seen around the world by many different countries, many different cultures are represented there. Very important. Here in the United States of America, we are home to over 564 different federally recognized native tribes. Now, that number does not include the Indians that live in South America, Mexico, or our great-grandmother lands of the Canadas, where there are many more, each of them speaking their own language. They have their own custom, culture, and ways and traditions. But there is that one thread that runs through all of us, and that is the storytelling. And of course, the pageant is just one of the story of Ramona is just one story in the grand scheme of all of Native America. And it's important to our town of Hemet to let people know that we are here. We have a great story to tell. We are the Ramona pageant is the longest running outdoor drama in the United States. And of course, it's important to me personally as a woman to let people know about Helen Hunt Jackson and her contributions to our history.
Well, I want to thank you for coming over today and talking about this. I know that you have portrayed Ramona now twice and have done a superb job. And the people here in Hemet really look forward to that every year. And I want to thank you once again for coming by. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Great interview, Michael. It's amazing how one author and one book can have such an impact on a single valley. The mission of the Hemet Library Foundation is to support and enhance the programs and book collections of the Hemet Public Library. We have produced a short video to explain who we are and how we support the Hemet Public Library.
Where can I find a recipe to make gnocchi? Where can I find pictures of gnomes? Where can I find more information on GNUs? Where can I find information on GNATs for my school project? At the library!
The Hemet Public Library is proud to be celebrating 100 years of service to our community.
Hello, my name is Wayne Disher, and I'm the Library Director for the City of Hemet Public Library. I'm honored that the Hemet Library Foundation has asked me to take part in this presentation. On behalf of the library staff and our Board of Trustees, I want to thank the Hemet Library Foundation for its continued support. Our Library Foundation plays an important part in our mission to provide the community with the materials and services necessary for self-education, informed decision-making, and recreation. And it's great that the Foundation is getting the chance to shine and for you to learn a bit more about what the Foundation does and how you might be able to help them. You know, anyone with his or her eyes open knows and acknowledges that success today depends on information, access to it, and the skills to use it. And it's been recognized that a more just society is founded on the notion that the people have an inherent right to free access to information. And it's precisely this notion that I believe propels the Library Foundation to support us. The Hemet Library Foundation believes in the critical role of our library, and it helps me support that role. Basically, we believe simply that public libraries are more essential to the welfare of our city than ever before. That our library is being used in record numbers because the people of this community know and appreciate how libraries add immense value to their lives and property. Now, these are lofty claims, but they are also 100% true. An independently conducted performance audit of the library showed that for every dollar spent on our library, the city received the equivalent of $5 in return. Now, for you investors out there, that's a 5-to-1 return on investment. Obviously, the library is the smartest investment the city could make in terms of the results it gets. We use every penny we get wisely and always with the public's best interests in mind. We take to heart the trust and faith you, our community, has put in us in providing the best library service possible. The legacy of this library, this gift, can be measured only in the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom gained through its use, in the opportunities created and imaginations inspired, and the lives we have helped enrich. Without the Hemet Library Foundation by our side, I am positive this community would not have the library we have today. We all owe a debt of gratitude to the Hemet Library Foundation for its support of the library in the past, and I would like to encourage you to contribute to the foundation in any way you can, and thereby ensuring it can continue to help us in the future.
The reason I like the library is because there's mass amounts of books and DVDs for our children to come and check out once a week. The people are very friendly here. It's a wonderful environment.
The library is very important, that you can get books on tape, books on video, hardcover books, softcover books, things for your children.
I love the library because it gives me a place to study. It gets me away from the household because it's just, there's so much going on, and this is the most quiet place I know where I can just get down and studying, so that's why I love this place.
Tell them how you feel about the library.
I like puzzles, and I like to read books with my mom and my dad.
The Hemet Library Foundation has, since its inception in 2000, collected over $1 million in donations to help with the enhancement of the Hemet Public Library for the benefit of our community. The Hemet Library Foundation is a nonprofit organization not connected with any government agency or ruling body. The tax-exempt donations we collect are distributed at the discretion of our Board of Directors, which is a volunteer group of dedicated local residents. One of the programs the Foundation supports is the Hemet Adult Literacy Advocates.
Hi, my name is Lori Eastman, and I'm the Literacy Coordinator for Hemet Public Library Adult Literacy Services. The Literacy Program is a service of the Hemet Library, and this year we're celebrating 25 years of service to the community. Our program helps English-speaking adults learn basic reading, writing, and spelling skills through the help of caring volunteer tutors from our community. It's been reported in the NOW, NAAL, which is the National Assessment of Adult Literacy, that 17.7% of adults in Hemet are performing at below basic level. This means that these individuals are not able to perform a simple task, such as using a television guide to find out what programs are on at a specific time, or even reading a bedtime story to their child.
After going to the Literary Center, my enthusiasm is up and my self-esteem is up real high. When I first came there, I was like, wow, I don't know if it's for me, until I met Lori Eastman my first day there, and I started learning right away. Also, since I've been at the Literary Center, I have several job offers. Now I'm working a job. Simple things like writing a check and filling out an application was difficult for me till I joined the Literary Center. It helped me to learn and helped me to be a better person.
All materials for the literacy program are supplied through community support. Groups such as the Hemet Library Foundation and the Friends of the Library have been very supportive of our efforts, and without them we could not be able to do the very important work that we do. I encourage everyone to support the Library Foundation in their efforts to help keep the Hemet Library the heart of our community.
The Hemet Library Foundation continues to support the incredible array of resources the library has to offer, from computers to books, databases and software, furnishings and programs, and much more.
Oh, hi, Shirley. How are you feeling today?
Oh, Betty, I just came from the doctor and he gave me a new prescription and a new diet, and I'm very worried about it.
Well, you know, I'm going to go to the library later. I'll be doing some genealogy research. We can look up your medications and maybe find you some new recipes.
Do they do that there?
Oh, that and more.
Oh, what would we do without a library?
What would we do, indeed?
I'm Linda Krupa, and as past president of the Hemet Library Foundation, it has been my pleasure to work with many members of our community to raise and distribute funds to enhance the library. The foundation has reached out to the public, and the public has responded by donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to make the library a cornerstone of the community with technology and programs that are not paid for by the city from the general fund. There is a quote by Isaac Asimov which says, "When I read about the way in which library funds are being cut, I can only think that American society has found one more way to destroy itself." That is a very sad commentary on society and government today. I prefer a recent comment by President Obama. At the moment that we persuade a child, any child, to cross that threshold, that magic threshold into a library, we change their lives forever for the better. I would ask that you consider making a donation, large or small, to the Hemet Public Library through the Hemet Library Foundation. It is a great way to ensure that our library continues to be the most outstanding library in Riverside County.
In these harsh economic times, the library and its programs need your support more than ever. Donations in any amount are gratefully accepted and greatly appreciated.
The Hemet Public Library has over 90,000 books and resources available for our patrons and visitors. The collection covers a wide variety of topics, subjects, and thoughts and inspirations.
As I mentioned in the beginning of this show, libraries are a place of great inspirations and thoughts. But how do we access these resources? The Hemet Public Library has some of the most up-to-date information systems to locate resources quickly and efficiently.
That's right, Kurt. Our library has a great website that has a complete list of our collections. Patrons and guests can search online for books and resources, place hold requests, and even renew their books online with their Hemet Public Library card.
The library has its own Facebook page with links to the regular website to renew books and materials. We encourage everyone to visit the Facebook page as well as the website often to see what great activities are happening at our library.
The library calendar is full of events and activities for all ages. There are annual celebrations honoring famous authors such as Theodore Geisel, who you may know better as Dr. Seuss. Armchair Traveler lectures by our own Carol Francis allows you to learn about remarkable countries from the comfort of the library.
2013 marks the 90th anniversary of the Ramona pageant, based on the book by Helen Hunt Jackson. During March, April, and May, the library will be having exhibits honoring Mrs. Jackson and her complete body of work.
Our library has a large selection of resources and materials about our Ramona pageant from the last 90 years of performances. The Duff and Heritage Room is staffed by knowledgeable volunteers who can help you research information about the pageant or your own family genealogy. The online search program Ancestry.com is available for no charge in the library. Just ask one of the dedicated staff or volunteers for assistance.
Speaking of volunteers, our library could not serve our patrons and communities without the incredible support of our library volunteers. These dedicated volunteers devote countless hours assisting patrons and guests locate resources, shelving books, and facilitating special programs such as the summer reading program. If you are interested in helping your community by volunteering at the Hemet Public Library, please contact the front desk for more information.
One of the latest updates about the library is the mural in the children's area. Local artist Leslie Escoto is working enthusiastically to complete the 3 murals. We encourage everyone to stop by the library and see the progress.
Leslie and her associate Carolyn Henry have dedicated countless hours to finishing these murals, which are inspired by our local area and history. See if you can find all of the animals that are indigenous to our local area and other special local references.
Libraries are important to our communities in so many different ways. The library is a great place for free and low-cost entertainment, for homework support, for free adult literacy programs, for free computer access, and so much more.
We invite you to take some time and come down to the Hemet Public Library and see all that we have to offer. You will be pleasantly surprised at what you will find there.
Thank you for joining us on the Library Connection. On behalf of the Hemet Library Foundation, I'm Michael Huerta.
I'm Kurt Stingley.
See you at the library.